Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monte, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to be jumping right into it with some sweet hobby stuff. This is our Rumor Ramblings and Salty Tears episode. And I'm joined once again with my co-host Andy.
Yo.
And we have our battle brother Alex here kicking it with us too.
Hello.
And I guess let's kick off with some hobby stuff. What's been happening hobby-wise? I know you've been pretty busy, Alex, cranking out projects.
I finished my I made this commitment that I was going to do an HQ choice for each Primarch along with painting the Primarchs. So I got my Just Darren done and put them on the shelf. And when I was looking there, I saw an old knight that had been sitting there primed and ready to go for 2 years. So I've just made the decision I was going to close him out and get it all done. So I've been working on just finishing up this weird one-off knight project here for the last 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Nice. Guess myself just had a couple of events happen for other systems, and now kind of jumping on to trying to work on finishing my Legio Solaria for Titanicus. So
Nice.
updated the paint job a little bit, add kind of more of the white speckle to it, and change my trimming up a little bit. So try to emulate the pictures that are in the book, right? So Warlord Titan and one of the Warhounds are pretty much done. Just got to do some bases, and then I got to work on the other 3 Warhounds and a Reaver. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Nice.
And yourself, Bill?
It's been busy. I've been trying to work on the Titanicus models a fair bit. Just staring down 2 Reavers. Got all the panels glued on recently. All my Warhounds, I have everything blocked in, all the marbles done, and now it'll be seal everything up and do the AK weathering and stuff. So looking forward to getting that all progressed.
Yeah, it's kind of like what talking with you earlier in the last couple of days here of kind of finishing some small things off, and then dedicating month of March to some Titanicus, and maybe pull out some of the 40K as well. So
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, pull off the Necrons, bring them out of their tombs, and
Really?
start painting them.
That was your decision, Necrons?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I barely got to play them, so and most of them are built, right? And
But
want to give them a run.
bold choice, Cotton.
Bold indeed.
So about Horus Heresy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's been some mad rumors flying around. There's just the heresy pages, most of the ones I'm on for Facebook there, it's doom and gloom, fire brimstone, like it's just been wild. It's been a crazy roller coaster on some of these pages.
It's the 2 topics you don't talk about on Facebook: North American politics and Horus Heresy rumor leaks.
That's right. That's right. Oh boy is right. It's just I guess let's touch base on, let's talk some rumors first. Some of the rumors were pretty spicy. I know one that we have been talking about on here for a little while. It was on our wish list, actually. I do remember in that episode. The first one I saw was Dreadnoughts going to Toughness 7, or Contemptors, I should say. Contemptor Dreadnoughts. Toughness 7 with 6 wounds. This pleased me. There's no other way to say it.
I think it's a good change. I'm interested to see, like, the other leak there was obviously that they're going to keep the USRs, whether they keep them all or most of them or whatever it is. But it'd be interesting to see if dreadnoughts actually get monstrous creature versus like a type of just, I don't know, wounds and toughness allocation like a character would.
Yeah,
I think they would have to get monstrous creature, to be honest, but to make it make sense. But
yeah, and to touch on what Bill's saying, I just kind of look. It is dreadnoughts, not just contemptors, right? So
all dreadnoughts
across the board.
Mm.
Now, will that be? I'm assuming they're going to have different stats for the different dreadnoughts that they have. You know what I mean?
like an ironclad or.
Well, you got a contemptor, you got a box knot, and then you have
their Dio.
Yeah, exactly. And then Leviathan.
Ooh, that's right. I didn't think of that. Like the Leviathan and the Dirdeo getting toughness stats.
That's one thing I really was kind of getting all hot and bothered by. I was like, if Leviathans don't have T8, I'm gonna riot. Like, they should be comparable to a Thanatar in my mind.
What's the front armor on a Dirdeo? Isn't it 13 as well?
Yep.
So would it be T8 as well?
I don't know if they're going to go that route.
I see them more 7.
Right, the size kind of maybe.
Cause just
that's the same height. They're just Leviathan's a little bit more chunky.
Yeah, he's a chunky boy, and he's thick with 2 C's, right? So it's
I think it's a good change though overall.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that you're gonna have, okay, so Leviathan, let's say it is toughness 8, and then your middle class will be your Contemptor and your Dorado, and they'll be toughness 7, and maybe a box knot is actually toughness 6, or they might keep all 3 of those. They might keep all 3 of those toughness 7 and just change the amount of wounds they have. Right.
Like anyone who's played Mechanicus or played a Mechanicus army knows how much more durable toughness 7 models are. Like, you're basically like a 6 wound Castellax with better weapon skill, ballistic skill, and weapons. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
One of the only things that could be a little screwy with that is, like, universal special rules and stuff like that. Like the poison, wounding, on a 4+ on anything that has a toughness. I don't really know how you're gonna poison a vehicle. You know what I mean?
Doesn't it say that they're not susceptible to poison? Down below, they have they'll have dreadnoughts will have their own vehicle characteristic rules, which actually say what you can and cannot do to them. I thought that was another further leak.
There, yeah, it had it touches base on that a little bit further down. Okay. That and Fleshbane, I believe it mentions.
Yeah, right here. Vehicle and units now have specific keywords. These keywords add different rules to the unit or vehicle in question. Example: dreadnoughts, Fleshbane, and poison weapons must re-roll successful hits against all dreads, and dreads have fearless special rule. Dreadnoughts may fire all weapons as part of the shooting attack, even a reaction. Dreads may also fire heavy weapons and ordnances if they're stationary, even if they moved. Declared charges, regardless. Dreadnoughts cannot be joined by any of their mature units, etc. So yeah, I think they're gonna get each vehicle then have its own key. Oh, that's pretty interesting though. I didn't catch that. They will have keywords.
Yeah. Sound familiar?
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Where's the salt? Give me the salt.
Yeah. Sounds very familiar. But also welcoming, I won't lie.
Honestly, I am excited for change, right? We've been playing for years, and seeing some of these new changes, I'm liking what I see. Hopefully, it'll be exciting times again for Heresy and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Anything that spins the meta right now.
Well, yeah, it's. We've had that rule set for quite some time now, so it's nice to see. It's good to see stuff coming.
12 years. It's been 12 to 15 years heavy.
Yeah.
Well, some guys are hardcore to the
generation.
Old rules, right?
Generation of children have grown up. This hasn't changed.
I've just gotten older.
Yeah.
But
what about some of the other stuff like psychic phase? Really no more psychic phase, 2 powers and disciplines. They basically the powers are activated in the existing phases. No psychic dice. Using ballistic skill, etc., to cast powers, weapon skill in close combat. No deny the witch rolls.
This just sounds like it's basically just you want the power, it goes off, it happens. So it sounds almost just like a built-in buff you would give units and like squads in your army.
It is interesting because like if that's the way it works, then you gotta think that the disciplines are getting nerfed into the ground.
Well, they're going to get overhauled, probably is what it is. It's going to be a whole new set, probably, of psychic powers.
That's exciting,
right? I'm hoping that's what it is, because 1, there's no psychic phase, right? 2 powers per discipline. Okay, fair enough, right? Brought into different phases, like you said, but no psychic dice. So is it just going to be, okay, this is my psyker, and this is what he's able to get from the disciplines, and he just gets it?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Right? And they're going to be these, like, little sub-abilities that they get to use. Right? And there's no deny the witch rolls, which is interesting for Heresy, because really, they didn't really... I mean, they knew about psychic powers and stuff, but they weren't fully tuned into psychic powers, I guess, compared to like 40k, right? So they put a little bit of a spin in it, but it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But who knows? Maybe when they come out, this is completely different. So
yeah, I suspect it'll be a lot like some of the 40k stuff that's going on, like you'll have like a psychic shooting attack, like smite or something like that, which will probably cause some form of what will be termed mortal wounds, I would suspect.
Exactly.
And then outside of that, and again, you're talking like 1 to 3 mortal wounds, the way it's done in 40k, where it's not hugely impactful, but it is constant. And then there's going to be buffs, like you get +1 to hit, +1 to wound, or re-roll saves or something like that. That'll be a very kind of, with only 2 powers per discipline, I can't think that it's going to be more complicated than that.
Well, you're gonna have buffs, and you're probably gonna have like curses, right? Where it's an offensive spell that will make you re-roll successful saves or something like that on that unit that it targeted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it'll be pretty mild compared to what it is currently. Like you won't get like that unit gets like +2 toughness and feel no pain and
Biomancy bullshit. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they come up with, especially for for the armies that are supposed to be kind of heavy with psychic powers.
You can generate 3 powers a turn instead of 2.
Yeah. Obviously 1,000 suns, right? But also for demons. Psychic powers for them.
Korn doesn't care about magic.
Exactly. But it'll be interesting, and then you got the other legions and whatnot. If they have psychers, how that's going to change it all. But so we can guess all day on this one.
Can we talk about twin link weapons? Because I love this change.
Well,
I think this is the best change ever.
When I first read it, I was like, oh, sweet, it's like 9th, no problem. And then I'm like reading, and I'm like, no, why? I thought they would have just personally doubled the amount of shots and left it as is.
So, yeah.
Like, to speed things up, right? That's what I thought they were trying to do, was speed it up. But it's like, oh no, double the shots and re-roll still. I was like, what? Like, it blew my mind.
Isn't that awesome?
So double the shots,
yeah. Doesn't it make like
the twin link rule?
And twin link now re-roll all hits, all misses. Sorry.
Like, so crazy.
That's awesome. Like, think of like all those, like all of the heavy bolters and autocannons out there that no one's using right now.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting any play out of them. And yeah. Now you will.
It's true, yeah. For just field of fire, like volume of fire, you'll definitely see a bunch.
Think all those salivating Imperial Fist players right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I can see.
But like autocannons too, right?
Yep.
Twin linked autocannons, like 4 shots, strength 7, AB 4, Sunder maybe. They get additional rules.
It's true. It's true. It's an exciting time. The way some of these rumors have been coming out, and just reading them alone has just been wild. One of the big ones was the Predator sheet that kind of came out. So this Legion Predator Squadron, 120 base from what it looks like, which isn't, great points wise, but the way that they had this sheet lined up was, sponson weapons for sure, turret weapons, and pintle mount. They have everything very clearly labeled, but the squadron going up to 5 Predators, I thought was pretty damn awesome, and not to mention the movement. That's one thing I forgot about the Dreadnought too. Like, he's got movement 8 now, and these Predators are movement 14, which is definitely a little change. They're a lot quicker.
It doesn't. We haven't seen the leaks on movement yet, but you got to think that, we won't have. I guess we haven't seen the keywords on the vehicles either, so you can't say that it's a fast vehicle or whatever. But
it's true.
Their real awesome thing or spicy thing, I guess, is like 2 sponson las cannons for 10 points.
Yeah. Sponsons got cheap, the tanks got expensive, but still, I think it pretty much evens out overall. One thing that I thought was extra sweet was sponson Volkite Culverins.
Oh yeah, turret mounted Volkite macro saker.
Like, just something crazy in there. So I don't
like
know.
The interesting too is the just the terminology here, right? All these names they're not traditional terminology. The neutron blaster, Gravis las cannon, Volkite and macro saker, graviton cannon, magna melta cannon, executioner, plasma destroyer. Those are all like flamestorm cannon was previous name, but those are all new terms for new weapons with new stats that we haven't seen yet.
It's true. There's some wild stuff coming down the pipe, and like, this is just obviously, super take with a grain of salt, because it's the internet. You never know, but I don't know. I got a good feeling about this one. I think it's been so long that some of these are all starting to creep out, and yeah, the future looks bright. It really does. There's so many good things that were coming out of it.
Does this mean we're gonna get? Do you think this means Adepticon?
I think it's fair to say Adepticon is when they'll launch it.
Can we be as equally as disappointed when they don't do it, just like we were at LVO?
Yes, we can. That made me sad.
If they don't release it, we fucking riot.
Yeah, I remember staying up late. We're having a mini watch party. Everyone's doing their thing, and then it's like, and Horus Heresy, Kabanda, and you're like, oh, what the hell? Like, cool, but man,
like, I am a Demons player, and I was disappointed.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yes, I hope they do it at Adepticon. Pardon?
You guys just went through the plasma section?
No,
we went through just some of the other rules, like the naming conventions on the actual data sheet is different now. Yeah. Like, you have names that are like
not in Heresy,
not in the current Heresy. It's not in 40k either.
Oh, okay.
Like on the we were saying on the Predator sheet, you've got Magna Melta Cannon, Graviton Cannon, Volkite and Macro Saker, Neutron Blaster, and the Gravis Las Cannon, as well as the Executioner, Plasma Destroyer. Those are all, pretty safe to assume what those weapons will do, but and what their stats will look like. But again, new terminology definitely is very positive because that means whole new weapon sets.
Yeah, no, that'll be pretty sweet. I think the only one that I did like recognize was the Saker. I'm pretty sure the Sabers have those.
That's right. Yeah.
Macro Saker.
Well, it's just a Volkite Saker, but just that's the only one that I can recognize.
I'm sure that Executioner Plasma Destroyer is just the large fancy plasma cannon turret. They probably just renamed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Right.
like the Magna is the extended melter range one that's on some of the 40k vehicles now. Like I think it's safe to say we kind of know what those stats are going to look like, but it's interesting that they're using those new names on the data sheets, which is good.
Yeah.
Were you able to get a Lascan turret in Heresy?
No.
So this is going to be the twin linked one that they do make.
Yeah, the Annihilator.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to think that they're either coming out with new upgrades for the Predator, or it's going to be a whole new plastic
or it's a
kit.
plastic kit,
Yeah.
which is probably exactly what it is. Yeah.
I'd be shocked and appalled if it wasn't, honestly.
There wasn't a Predator in that in the box set that was leaked, eh?
No, not that I remember. Just the Spartan, which, don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for.
No doubt.
Very
no
thankful.
doubt.
So.
And the thing too is you see the special rules. It actually has Legions of Astartes X.
Yeah.
On that sheet as well. So
it's like the graphic version of the Legion of Astartes.
It's probably the keyword thing, pretty much, because they're going to change all that up, I'm sure.
Yeah. But that's interesting though. If vehicles are getting the Legion of Astartes rule, that means some pretty crazy stuff, like based off what we know of Legion of Astartes rules now. Mm-hmm. Right, like Iron Hands could have some pretty nasty things happening, especially if they had a similar thing.
Ooh!
Someone get Dan so he can be excited again.
I know.
Ooh. Yeah. So my Ultramarine Predator can reroll the wounding of ones now with a vehicle.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and like their Legion Dreadnoughts would get +1 initial on the charge. Blood Angel vehicles would get +1 to wound potentially in close combat.
Yeah, it could be, man. It could be some pretty sweet things happening.
Like there's that we kind of touched on the keyword idea, but there was lots of reference here in this in the articles about the line keyword being added. That like Space Marines or certain years will have like the line, like up the line, like line troops.
Sounds like core to me.
That's what I was gonna say. It's basically 30K's core.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities between this stuff and 40K, and you can deny it. There's a lot of people out there who are naysayers and just hate Ninth for whichever reason they choose to cling to, and it's just, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of good changes, I think, coming from it. Ninth has some pretty cool mechanics in it, and I think it's going to be okay, you guys.
We touched a little bit on this on the pre-show, but there was this reference here to reactions, special reactions, and then obviously there's been some more kind of interesting leaks here in the last 48 hours about reactions maybe being Astartes Legion specific, and specific legions getting specific reactions. I kind of think that's just stratagems by another phrase or another word, but I think, honestly, I think stratagems they add a whole lot of flavor to 40K now that was missing for the last 15 years. I think it'd be a saving grace for 30K too.
Well, it shakes it up.
It does,
right? Shakes it up and probably makes your games way more interesting, to be honest. Like I know when we played some 40K, and I mean even with Titanicus with stratagems and this and that, right? It definitely gets you thinking. It kind of gets you playing your armies, certain ways or whatever to utilize those stratagems. So I mean, if that's what it's going to do, or that's what it's going to take, or whatever to shake up 30k, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's change it up. Put some hot sauce on that shit. Let's go. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm looking
Not ready
forward
to change out all my plasma guns. That's for goddamn sure.
Well, yeah, that's different, right? Going through just the written out stuff. All units have a unique move characteristics. Marines are 7 inches now. Bulky units like Terminators are 6. Rhinos move 14. Jump packs are still 12, which is interesting. Rhinos moving up to a troop capacity of 12. That's a little bit out of left field.
So you can take those ECs and or not ECs,
Apothecaries.
characters.
Yeah. That's how I look at it. Yeah, you'll have an apothecary and a character with them with every squad.
Yeah.
So like those things were packed to the brim with 10 Marines in it. Like I can't even imagine like physically how much room is in a Rhino with 12 people in it.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
New larger kit?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that's one bridge too far.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Here's a Rhino. It could actually only carry 10 guardsmen, but we're packing it full of 12 Marines.
That's
right.
just
sideways.
That's right. That's just being transhuman jealous. So,
oh boy.
But even like Contemptor's movement of 8 now, like you got to think there's going to be some kind of run mechanic, whether it's a D6 or some kind of double your movement or something like that. But basically with a average 3, that means a Contemptor's running 11 inches a turn now, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like that changes the dynamic of Heresy, just that, let alone like Rhinos going 14 or Predators going 14.
No.
Or,
well,
even Marines going 7 changes the dynamic.
So if they've changed the actual characteristic of just your basic move, now is that going to be your full move? Or are they changing, regular moving and running? Like, are you going to be able to run still, or is it going to be something else?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's still going to be some kind of run mechanic in the game. So like a Legion Contemptor doing 8, just flat 8 movement before anything else, is terrifying when you think that he can run. So like you put him at 12 inches in your deployment zone, and legitimately, if you're not at the back of your deployment zone, he's probably a good chance he's within range of charging something on turn 2.
Yeah, it's true.
They don't mention jet bikes though in there, eh?
No.
Interesting.
Jet bikes are going to get 12 for sure. If a Rhino's going 12 or a Predator's going 14, jet bikes are at least going 12.
Yeah, they say jet pack is 12, so
yeah,
definitely
it's interesting. Plasma took a hit for sure. The rumor is no longer AP2. Plasma weapons are now AP4 across the board with the new rule attached to them: breaching. When a model is rolling to wound on a 4+, the player firing the plasma resolves it at AP2. To me, that's almost that seems like maybe a way to do like an overcharge mechanic or something. You might be able to. There might be a strat for that or a trait for that. Kind of seems neat. AP4 all the time. Outside of the the breaching rule seems a little odd, but
I wonder if you'll see that. I wonder if you'll see a stat crunch on AP2 weaponry. That'd be pretty exciting, actually. Because, like, if suddenly there's very little AP2 weaponry, the survivability of normal Marines is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, so...
It's true. It's true. Terminators might feel like Terminators again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like again, because I'm a total lore nerd, just like the physicality of a space marine in combat, like, you know, having arms blown off and still fighting, and just the resilience there of a post-human is not really recognized in the current 30k rule set.
No.
It's like, oh, you brought marines? Are they holding objectives? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They're definitely not doing
no-
anything else.
So no more gets hot on them, on plasma weapons,
Not from the sounds of it.
right?
Yeah.
And pretty much just 4+ it's AP2.
Yeah.
So it.
I like it. I like it, to be honest.
It sounds pretty wild.
I at first I thought it was going to slow it down, but then I started thinking about the get hot rule, where if I have a squad of 10 Marines with plasma guns and I got to roll those 2 dice, separately, for each Marine, that takes a while, right? Whereas this is just roll.
So yeah, now it's just a strength. Was it strength 7? Strength 7, AP4, rending 4-up weapon.
It's just a sexier autocannon.
An autocannon with short range, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wonder, by them doing this, you're probably actually gonna see those like support squads out on the field more, because they're probably gonna be cheaper.
Yeah, it also kind of removes that feel bads of like 10 Marines hopping out with plasma guns or combi weapons and just deleting an entire squad of Space Marines.
Yeah.
True.
That is true. Yeah, that could be a.
Or gunning down a Primarch.
Yeah. Now you gotta pay for the Melta.
Yeah.
I do like how they specifically say, sorry to the Dark Angel fans in there.
Yep.
It's funny. You're shit out of luck. I like that.
Well, they're. What are those flamer plasma motherfuckers called again?
I don't know. They just
Plascasters or something.
Just some obscene unit. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Plasma everywhere for them, right?
Yeah. You get what you deserve. God damn it.
I thought it was interesting here in the leak there that like they're like, oh yeah, this is happening, but no ITC secondaries. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's like, huh?
It's like the one scoring comment and mission comments out of everything that's been leaked. You're like, why would there be ITC secondaries? That's a weird thing to throw in there.
Yeah.
Don't know. No ITC. Yeah.
Like, there's no ITC secondaries. I guess there's ITC secondaries in the core rulebook in 40k now, isn't there? They built it in.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like 30k's never really had any of that stuff.
No.
So it's
But
interesting.
maybe they've overhauled it, and
It's true.
they've overhauled the missions and objectives or whatever, and they threw this in here because they're on that that thinking
kick.
pattern, right? Yeah.
Or the beta testers are ITC guys.
That's true.
Can I gripe about one thing for a second?
Please,
Can I just let it go.
Hold on, let me go get the salt shaker.
So, I was a little disappointed in the fact that they're keeping armor value, and not going full toughness.
So was I.
Just because, like, what my very personal concern is that we're now going to have like 2 40k rule sets. One that's like 40k and one that's like not quite 40k. And as a result, like playing between the two systems is going to be like a constant, like, oh shit, is that 30k or 40k?
Oh, that's not in this system. Rule? That's in that. Yeah. So I've talked with Bill about this before too. Is obviously we're seeing a lot of stuff that is very, very similar or pretty much bang on to what 40k is right now. I have a feeling that this is pretty much just introductory. It's going to come in, it'll be here for a few years, and then it's going to start to like really start to change over to become pretty much one with the family of that kind of rule set, right? That's what I think. They're going to kind of ease into it.
This is the bringing some lube before full 9th edition jumps in, you mean?
Yeah, well, some people might feel like they're getting...
Shh, baby, it's just weapon toughness. Vehicle toughness will be okay. Shh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
But,
so many people just crying about this. These
Well,
leaks.
of course, it's change.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
The Horus community is kind of borderline like historical wargaming community too at this point, just because the rule set is so old that there's been no adjustments really, and other than a few new things like sprinkled in throughout the last 10 years, there hasn't been a big substantial change. So this is a change to the core rule set that people have been playing for 10 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
big. It's been a big change. Like, there is obviously stuff happening that it's rippling through the community with mixed review, but at the same time, we've been asking for like updates and love and just positive stuff coming. Anything, right? Like, just anything to make Heresy better. And now it just drops like this massive explosion of rumors, and it's just like, yeah, people are still like, can't please everybody, and that just goes to show the internet, I think, kind of as a whole. It's just like, man, half the people are loving it, half the people are hating it. It's just guys who are hating it are talking about playing the old rule set forever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
quitting.
There's gonna be a divide, right?
Burning their army. Fantasy style.
I mean, the guys, you know how it goes, guys. Guys who are gonna quit the game will be back in 2 months.
Yeah,
they just can't get away from it. So.
Yeah. So, like, I, from a high level perspective, honestly, is that if you look at 30K and you look at 40K and you look at the trend in 30K players around the world for the last 5 years, it's been going down. That's it. That's just that's the reality.
Hard facts.
And the 40K trend is that in the last 3 years since 8th to 9th edition, it has exploded to the point where like you're seeing like RTs and GTs happening across Canada, whereas like 5 years ago you had like 2 or 3. Yeah. They just weren't popular. To have like in our area in Western Canada here, to have like multiple RTs almost every month pre-COVID, and now that we're kind of starting to see the end of COVID, having RTs be scheduled again. Like, people are like, can we fit 24 people in this venue? Can we get to 40? Can we get to 50? Can we get to 60? Having GT level events now in Western Canada, like, consistently. That's how popular that event is. Because if there's 100 people or 80 people going to GTs, there's probably 200 people behind that are playing for fun with their friends and their local game store. Like, anything that gets us closer to that for 30K, I think, is positive for the hobby, for our side of it, at least.
Well,
absolutely.
And that's the thing. Like, even going down to our level of, like, the local shops, right? You go into a local shop, and especially right now, you see minimum 3-4 games going to 40K. Usually in like a decent sized shop, right? 2 on maybe some smaller shops. You don't see 30K being played. Maybe the odd time you see it being played, but you rarely ever see it being played.
Only if we set something up.
Well, that's just
pretty much, yeah.
Right?
And by we, I mean Bill.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, we were at our local shop on Saturday for a bolt action event, and it was a full house. Like, there was we had 3 tables, and then the 40K guys who came in just dropping in playing. There was like probably 5-6 matches that happened.
Yeah,
right.
It was bumping,
but you didn't see anything else. Like, it's people want that new rule set. People want up to date stuff, new models, plastic models, all that jazz, right? And I know that's what I'm looking for too. So I can dig it.
Can dig it, man. I can dig it.
What
about? I know we strayed off a little bit. Okay, what about Heart of the Legion, the new universal special rule? When a unit that includes at least one model with this rule gets 6+ feel no pain and stubborn when within 6 inches of an objective. That's
and feel no pain bonuses stack.
Yeah. So if you have feel no pain with like an apothecary, it goes to 5+. So that kind of makes me wonder if feel no pain for apothecaries is just straight up 6s.
6. Yeah, that sounds right. And there's one more.
Because again, we see this trend in 40k when almost innately everything has a strat or a warlord trait or something that allows it to ignore wounds on 6. So now you've got this is kind of like a comparable. It's interesting, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that rang out to me,
but only around
this.
objectives.
Yeah, which is fucking cool.
And you get stubborn.
Yeah, so it's going to be a slog fight.
There's language here that just like it screams that it's being set up for stratagems. It screams it.
Yeah.
Like you're getting, you get stubborn and you get a 6+ feel no pain. Oh, you play a stratagem or reaction that when you get charged, you get +1 to your feel no pain, +2 to your feel no pain, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I think it's good. Again, like I said earlier, talked about the resiliency of Legion Astartes in the 30k lore. You if you don't have a proliferation of AP2, and suddenly you're sitting on objectives, and maybe the missions go to more objective heavy rather than just like kill v killed, and suddenly 3-up Marines are sitting on objectives with a 5-up feel no pain, beating the piss out of each other.
Yeah, very heresy like
traditional lore. Yeah.
Very heresy.
You're gonna probably see much more emphasis on Marines. In game, if they're gonna be that hard to take off the board, and like you said, Alex, objective based, right?
I think that's good. Like honestly, I think
for sure.
The move to more infantry heavy for the Legion Astartes game is probably a good idea.
My 60 Marines like to hear this because they're already tough as fuck to get off the board to begin with. If granted, now this is if all the Legion traits stay the same. I can only imagine having pretty much a free feel no pain on objectives.
Yeah.
And not a ton of AP2 shooting them.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot.
So, what are they called?
The Flyers.
World Leaders inductee.
Oh yeah.
Already have a 6+ feel no pain.
Yeah. They could have
and
a 5.
They get that a 5 and have their apothecary with them for a 4.
Could.
Yeah, why not?
Interesting.
They can't score objectives though, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Maybe that's a cap. Maybe they don't have the line keyword, so which means maybe if they don't have the line keyword, they don't get access to Heart of the Legion. Or maybe Heart of the Legion is only for HQ choices or bodyguards or
sounds like a big thing.
Yeah.
Like a bigger bonus for sure. So chainswords have shred. Which is
that's good.
That sounds awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
We were tossing around a chat the other day. It was like, does that mean chain axes will get shred and +1 strength?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, that'd be nice.
And if so, yeah.
Yeah. Who's got 2 thumbs and playing World Eaters? So just
actually, no one does.
I know.
no one has a World Eater army.
Nope. That was a long time ago.
That's okay.
Mostly because I didn't want to paint 60 inductee.
It's true. That's true.
I do have 50 assault marines, blood ninja assault marines though, with chainsaw or train swords, which would appreciate the role change.
I can definitely dig that. Yeah.
So there's the twin link template weapons. Actually get to re-roll failed wound rolls and armor pen rolls. So that's different compared to what any of that does now.
Just read a little scatter right now, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's obviously still templates, right?
Yeah, it says that up above there that they're keeping the template system.
Yeah, so you're gonna have scatter still, but that could impact stuff.
I better start selling fucking templates again then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, new fancy ones.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Can you imagine the killing they would make with Legion-specific templates?
Buddy.
The guy on eBay does it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
they'll crush him.
branded.
They'll crush him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll cease and desist him and then make them for 50% more and make $500,000 at it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll make those fancy ones that look like they're all electricity and stuff.
They have those.
But yeah, it's different. It's a different little rule set for templates, which makes it interesting.
I have a feeling, just from like reading some of this stuff, though, it seems, I think Primarchs, like point wise, I think things are going to go up.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think with that reference there, that 25% rule,
Yeah.
combined Lord of War and Primarch total, usually a 2-point game can't exceed 500 points. I think you're right. Is that you just won't see Primarchs in 2K games anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's even says down at the bottom, so can't take Lords of War in sub 2K battles. So that'll change that, which...
Yeah, Primarchs are no longer Lords of War, so
Yeah.
they're a new special unit type, which is kind of cool. I like that idea, because now, you know...
Would you call that a Supreme Commander?
I would. I would, yeah. It's just, oh man, like, some of the similarities are just glaring.
And
It's
then,
almost like you have a playbook to read from.
Yeah. Primarchs can now be taken in a primary detachment as well as an optional. So, like a, Supreme Commander detachment.
That just means you can take 2 Primarchs.
Yeah. Or just, oh man. Just,
Trying to game the system already.
oh boy.
Haven't even seen the rule set. I'm like, I could take 2 Primarchs.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Absolutely great.
You can do the Logar and Angron combo.
See, that'd be sick. That's got a narrative feel already.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So, I love them or hate them. Honestly, I think these rumors are fantastic. It's been a long, long road waiting for these to come down and grace us. So I hope they're all real. I love them. I think they're going to be killer. I'm all for it. My vote's yes.
I want them now.
Yeah. Yes.
I want them now so I can start building lists and play testing and having fun.
I want to see when the release happens, like when it drops, I want to see what else drops. Because we know that box set's going to drop. Right? We know that big fat box set with the Spartan and all those Marines and whatnot, and those 2 characters and stuff is going to drop. But I want to see what else they're going to bring out. Like right off the bat. Just smack it in our face and like, here, buy it now. That'll be interesting.
LED templates.
Oh man.
But I have a feeling you're probably going to see, the Legion dice and stuff like that again, and you'll have your templates, of course. That'll come in the box set and stuff.
I don't disagree, Andy. I gotta think though that they're gonna probably release it in the same way they're releasing all the 40k and AOS stuff, which is like via a 8 to 16 week trickle release schedule where they give you 1 article a week and then push back the actual release of the models by 4 months.
You're probably right.
You'll have like the Legion news every Friday where they're going to give us 1 more Legion stratagem or rule or something like that.
God.
We'll have to suck on that little tit for another 3 or 4 months until the box shed eventually shows up.
That would be so painful. So painful.
The worst.
Please don't do that. If you're listening, don't do that. So that's just and for everyone,
regardless.
I was gonna say, for everyone listening, just send out good vibes for that not to happen, okay?
Hopes and prayers.
That's right.
Regardless, though, I'm interested to see the new kits, the core kits that they've talked about, right? Because GW is taking over all that, right? So there's a majority of your minis that they're going to take on, and are we going to see stuff that's scaled up? Don't know. Probably.
Please God, give me a plastic Sakuran.
Yeah. So it's it'll be interesting. It'll be if I see plastic jet bikes, I'm going to be yeah.
It's gonna rage.
So mad,
It's gonna rage out.
So mad.
I will be playing World Eaters if I see that happen, which probably will happen.
Plastic javelins. Oh, please God,
dude.
please.
Yeah. With what they can do with plastic kits now, it's
so good.
Probably the best thing ever, right? So, Rhinos and Predators, that's an easy thing. They've done it in the past. They can do it again, right? New Spartan, of course, looks really, really good.
Yep.
Other Land Raiders, be cool to see as well.
Hey man, we got the God pattern. That's all you need.
But yeah, it'll be cool to see what happens here, and I'm hoping it happens sooner than later.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be most excellent for it to come and drop. It's just enough is enough. Show us the goods.
The one thing that's weird is in the little pictures that they show you, rule book and other potential accessories, and then they put in brackets, note the absence of any templates. Don't know why they would say that if there are still templates, but
Oh, you're gonna buy them separately, yo.
Oh, probably.
So
probably even the scatter dice looks different.
LED templates. Take my money.
Be sick.
Here's a $50 light pen. There you go.
So, sorry. Go ahead. Sound like I was gonna cut you off there. I was gonna say, rumors aside, there was another thing that popped up on a page, actually two of them, that I wanted to talk about. But if you still want to talk, if you have any more rumor stuff, let's talk about that first.
No, just excited.
No, all done on my side, I think.
It's gonna be good. Now, there was some controversial comments on Facebook, right? And it's just I just generally want to hear what you guys have to say, and for those of you listening, comment us. I'd really like to hear your opinion on it. It basically is having painting requirements at events gatekeeping. And the post goes on to say, like, shouldn't 30K be accessible to everybody who wants to play? And there's quite the divide on the chat, and a lot, general consensus before we start. You don't have to paint your models. You don't have to. But just know that, like, this is your hobby. You can do whatever you want. Other people are going to have other values and beliefs in the hobby as well. So I would strongly recommend gaming and enjoying the hobby with like-minded people. So now we can kind of start. I just wanted to get that out there first, so it didn't sound too crazy.
I thought you were going to say you can choose not to paint your models, and we will choose to make fun of you.
Oh, jeez.
No. I just
no. Oh, okay, sorry. I must be on the other side of this conversation.
It's just so yeah. So okay.
Alex is like, there's not enough spice in this chili. Let's just
flare it up. Flare it up. Well, yeah. You don't have to paint your models, but painted plays better.
What do you hate children too? What's wrong with you?
Yes, I have 3. I'm allowed to. So I just, yeah. With the whole, just the way the whole conversation went, right? It's just, my hot take is you are more than welcome to play how you like. But if you're going to an event, you have to know that it's probably going to be a painting requirement. And that's okay. Because that's what the pinnacle of the hobby is getting your army painted and battling against your friend's army that's painted and just rocking out. Think about what drew you to the game when you were first getting into it. Was it watching 2 guys battle on the tabletop with gray armies and that's it? Or were they painted? Was the terrain all done up? Did that table, like the immersion, just suck you into the battle and you were hooked? Because that's how I got started, was, watching these armies all done up, and it blew my mind. I was 10 years old and it just was like, wow.
Okay.
Let's hear it. I know it's coming.
Well, no, actually, I'm surprisingly, I don't have as hardcore of a stance as that. I have kind of a metric, and my metric being that, especially where we're at with the 30K community right now, and where, like, say, the 40K community or the US community was at 2 years ago, where maybe some of the other, like, Infinity communities might be at, or any other system right now, is you kind of have to gauge public interest in your area, and that, I think, dictates what your requirements are. Because, like, if you have a new community starting up, your only goal should be to bring in people. That should be it. It doesn't matter, painted, unpainted, rule set, ITC rules versus non-ITC rules, etc. Whatever it is, whatever the limiter in your community is, it should be to bring in people to the hobby, because more people to the hobby is better than no people in the hobby. So
True.
if your permissive rule set is one that brings in community and builds community, that should be the number one goal. That's it, full stop. And whether that's painted or non-painted really doesn't matter. And so I think it really comes down to the communities that you play in. And if your community is one that's, like, starting up, and that, like, it's kind of getting going, then absolutely you should not have a painting requirement, because people are just not going to be there. And it's not fair to expect that. And vice versa, if you've got, like, a community like ours, which is, like, experienced, it's basically bedrock community for 30K for North America at this point. I think the expectation should be that it's painted, and if it's not, that's fine. You can do that in your RTs or, like, your basement games, whatever. But, like, when it comes to a bigger event, especially for our community, we really do want to showcase this community not only to the rest of the world, but also internally here, to bring in more people. Because, like you said, Bill, like, you want to, like, hey, when people showed up to the 30K events here locally, like, they could go to the 40K events and, like, there's lots of plastic going on and, playing gray, and they walk over to the 30K tables and all of our stuff was immaculate. It was all high standard. Even, like, the lowest standard, it was cohesive and it looked put together and it looked good. And, like, people stopped by consistently to comment on our tables, even though there was only, like, maybe 6 to 10 tables.
No,
it's true. No, that's true. You definitely bring a bunch of points, and, like, full, to be, like full disclosure, we're running, like, I'm running a Adeptus Titanicus event, and it's one of the first ones in the city. I haven't seen guys going hard playing, like, since the release. It's been kind of that sleeping giant that more than a few, a lot of us are starting to jump in and play. And I'm running an event at the end of March, and I would love for it to be painted, but I know that there is a big influx of guys who are jumping in. So while it's not a painting requirement, I want to reward the people who are ready to rock, who've been sitting with their stuff on the shelf for 2 years, waiting, for an event, waiting for the community to catch up, where the prizes are geared towards painted stuff. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. but there's also some concessions where if it's that guy who just, he just got one model painted before the event, there is an actual category, a prize category for just having single model. And then there's others for full armies. But it was to try and encompass everybody without leaving anyone out in the dark, so to speak. So I definitely like your more in-depth response to the question.
So, go ahead, Eddie.
No, I was just gonna say, pretty much what you said was like bang on there, Alex. But the other thing too is, and especially if you are doing new communities and stuff like that, or if you do have a veteran community and you have guys that maybe painting's not their thing, right? As a community member or leader or, just an influencer, we do it here. We tend to host, hangout paint nights on a Sunday night. That actually gets people involved in like talking with each other about that hobby aspect of the game. And,
That's true.
The more the community can help each other out in that way, the more you're going to see armies complete, done up, or units done up, in the communities and at events. And again, like Bill said as well, like, and you too, Alex, like, okay, I'm playing some basement or garage hammer, who cares, right? You want to try out some units that's not painted, blah, 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 who cares, right? You're going to an event, usually, if your group is well on their way and have been playing for a while, that's going to be the requirement, of course, right? And props to both ways, because that's how the communities build, that's how the communities get stronger. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, like, we have one player who had struggled to have his miniatures painted, even just assembled. It took a person a long time, and just this previous year, he's made so much progression, and he's had so much positive feedback from our local community that he's actually getting armies done. He's getting excited to play them now, to go to events fully painted, right? And that's where there's a difference between, no, they have to be painted, that's it, to most events are painted, and there are other events that we'll do that there's no requirement, so everybody can join in and have fun, right?
Yeah.
But we're also going to try to help you and, give you that boost or morale to get your stuff done, or do these challenges, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it could be. But like, I can rant and rave here all day, but yeah, like, it's definitely like-minded people, and also just where your community is, for sure. I can't say it any better than what Alex did, so I'll just leave it at that.
So, as because you guys aren't going to devil's advocate me, I'm going to do it myself. There's the other side of this coin is those guys that like don't paint; they just buy to play the meta army constantly.
Yeah.
There's also a bit of gatekeeping that has to go on in the community, especially health community, that where you say, hey, at least for big events, you should be some kind of painting requirement, because it stops people like buying a bullshit meta army to throw it at the table to cause field bads. If you have someone who's invested time in something coming to an event that in a community that they appreciate and they play it, then that will engender better feelings overall for the play experience for everyone, rather than a whole bunch of people showing up with meta armies or net lists with plastic stuff that they just were able to slap together last minute to crush someone's face. And that's what really comes across at those events. When you consistently allow that to occur, it encourages that type of behavior. So there is a bit of a some kind of gatekeeping that does have to go on with painting to stop that kind of behavior.
Well, doesn't that remind you of the 3D printed Custodes army that won the GT?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like
Same concept.
that's the same. That's the concept there, right? And that's something I would not want to happen. You shouldn't. That I don't like. It's
Not that we're saying anything about 3D printing.
no
before you guys get all
three.
our
Hey,
shit.
3D print it. Get it from wherever you can.
Hey.
Let it rip.
Yeah, sure, but it's also like GW does, right? It's their product, it's their game, it's their tournament, it's their rules, right? So if they don't want 3D printed, too bad, right? But the other aspect too there is, if I'm spending all that time painting my miniatures, getting my army ready, and I'm going to a big tournament, and I'm spending some major bucks just for the damn ticket to go to this tournament, or the flight, or whatever, I am hoping that there will not be any gray armies on the board.
Yeah.
Period. Right? That ruins the experience. If I go to a tournament and I see gray armies on the board, or partially built models, what am I doing here? Like, this is not a grand tournament. This is, to me at least, right? And it's even worse when the terrain's not done, right? Especially if you're paying some major bucks for this ticket, or for the tournament, or whatever it could be, right?
Like Bill doesn't paint his terrain for one game, Andy, and like you're just still holding a grudge.
Yeah. Cut me deep.
Well, yeah.
Cut me deep.
I agree. Like I think
that's how I feel about that. Like, guys, angry guy,
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about it. Like, we've played the game for so long, for so many years, and then in the beginning, yeah, we were those guys that would play with gray armies and test things out and play until the actual painting bug caught on.
Yeah.
And as soon as we started playing with fully painted armies and fully painted terrain,
that was kind of
it really is. The experience got so much better. And that's what we kind of strive to do now, right? Like,
yeah, I agree. And I think, honestly, like, for me personally, this hobbying, this whole miniature wargaming thing that I do, in general, and I've been doing it since I was about 7 years old or 8 years old. My mom accidentally walked me into my first Games Workshop store in England. Was the hobbying aspect of it is really important, because I like my other hobbies, like gaming, whether it's PlayStation or computer or whatever. If I didn't have this creative outlet from the hobbying side of it, and if I didn't see it manifest when I go play people with other painted armies across me, I see them in that same atmosphere with that same creative outlet, and it's a community building thing to me. It's like, hey, this guy's invested as much time, whether he's like an Adam Gray style painter, or whether he's just putting 2 to 3 colors on and he's learning for his first time. I appreciate that effort, whether it's Golden 100%. Demon Willing, or it's slapping paint on because you're trying out new things, because everyone had to slap paint on a model for the first time and take that risk to get to the Adam Gray level. And it doesn't matter who you are, it's important to start that process if this is your hobby, I think.
Hey, I started with googly eyes, and I can still do googly eyes.
Yep.
I've evolved it as a painter to the point where I just don't paint eyes.
But no, out of respect, totally agree with you there, Alex, on that. And the thing too nowadays is nice is, back when we started eons ago, when there was actually a Warhammer fantasy game, we didn't have all the tools that we have today, right? So there's a lot of outlets for tips and tricks and materials and helpful hands and videos and this and that.
Yeah,
YouTube videos.
Anyone who's starting basically has a YouTube video on how to do anything they want to do. We had magazines,
and there's so much of it. There's so much of it and so much info. So, just getting into it, or maybe you're struggling and you're trying to find a way, or your way of painting something that you're happy with. there's lots of options out there, and we've talked to a lot of guys, and they're like, I'm not a great painter, and I don't like painting, but I got some armies done, and this is how I did it. Hey, man, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you playing in tournaments? Yeah, all the time. Awesome, right? Good job. Let's keep it going, right?
Yeah.
So
if you're painting your model, mad respect, right? As long as you're slapping it and you're trying to do your best and keep practicing, that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yeah. And also for the guys who are doing tournaments and setting stuff up and putting all that extra time to making tournaments or events or leagues or whatever you're doing out there, putting that time, people don't tend to see a lot of how much time people do take to make these events. Like, props to them as well. When you go to an event and it is awesome and everything's done up, you've got specialized missions, there's some cool stuff happening. Maybe the games are fairly interacted with each other for results and stuff, and can affect and has this and that. Props to guys who do all that work as well. It's easy to do a tournament where, okay, just play out of the rule book, go. It's easy to do that maybe for your first couple, and then the experience hopefully gets a lot better if you start putting some time and effort into it. So there's that part of it too, where for me, if I know there's an event happening and I know there's a lot of good guys going to play and they're hobbyists like me, and the actual tournament organizer is put some effort into it and has drawn up the hype for the event, and is just very interactive with the player base or communities, it makes the whole experience better, and it really, for me, it makes me want to have my stuff done to the best of my ability to go and join in and play these events and tournaments and campaigns and whatever, right? So, in that aspect, you got to look at the tournament event organizers as well when it comes to, hey, I'm just going to come in here with gray minis and not give a shit. The guy is just like, well, come on, man. Put all this time and effort to make everything look good. I'd hope to see some effort from the player base as well. So, but that's just me.
Have we answered the question?
Yes,
Phil?
Yes. Yes. I feel we've answered it. And for those again listening, please comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. These are some hot button topics for some people, and yeah, I really want to know what you guys think.
These are topics that don't go away.
No, they don't.
Oh no.
Our community's been talking about painted versus non-painted, lore versus narrative gaming versus competitive gaming. There's probably 2 or 3 other topics as well for as long as I've been part of it. It just doesn't stop. And the fact that you're having these conversations is probably a good sign that there's people in the hobby that are concerned about it, and you should keep having them.
Yeah.
And that's positive.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
That's involvement, right? Involvement in the community and in the games and what people would like to see.
Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. Well, that's good. That's pretty much a solid note I wanted to end on. So, that's
excellent.
Yeah. Well, that
build it, paint it, play it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you everybody for coming, listening. Alex, thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
And we will catch you guys later.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.